Hey guys, and welcome to episode 8 of the Atlas podcast. Today I'm here with Victoria Schmidt, and we're going to go over a little bit of the Olympia and a few questions you guys asked us. So, how was your Olympia week? This is the second Olympia that you've been to now?
Second in Olympia. I went last year in Vegas and this year in Orlando.
Orlando or Vegas better?
Honestly, I think I prefer Vegas.
Yeah,
I find it more prestigious.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nicer. There's more activities. Everything is closed. You don't need to take a taxi to go there. More people, more crowded. The stadium was crazy last year too.
Yeah, I really this final stage better at the Orlando, just like the stage itself. Because last year I feel in Vegas, the final stage there was like so much, no, but it was, no, like the actual stage, not the venue.
Yeah.
There was so much waves and weird video in the background of the stage in the finals, and it was terrible. It should have just, here was very clean, black. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot better, and you could see the athletes better. And I didn't really like the lighting at the finals last year also.
I didn't like the lighting this year.
The lighting this year at the finals too wasn't that good. It was making everyone softer too. I wish they would have prejudging lighting, but on the finals stage. I don't get it's in the expo. It's a pain in the ass. You have to walk through all the way to the end, and then there's a small little section. And if you're a VIP, you have to walk through 70 people trying to block the entrance. It's just like it's an event.
I agree. It should be in a different room than the expo.
It should be in the same theater the whole time. I think would be a lot better.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to attract people to the expo, but it's a pain.
Not just that, like let's say like us, we had the gold package. Let's say the gold package and the silver packages don't even have seats for the prejudging, which is
You do only the gold and silver allowed in
can
there.
sit, but you don't have your
assigned seat.
You don't have a assigned seat.
It would be a lot better. But
I think so too.
it's a pain.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit better too. I do feel it's a little bit more prestigious. Plus, every Olympia I've ever been in Orlando, I just had a bad experience.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just the people I was around but this is the first time I actually really enjoyed this Olympia. I only had 2 athletes at the show. And that's because last year we had 11 qualified and 10 that competed. This year, 5 of my athletes didn't compete.
Yeah, less girls went to qualify this year too.
Yeah, so it was a much shorter season. Last season it was 13 months. And this season, I think there was 9 months to qualify or something like 9 or 10. So last year I had Shanae, Danny, Lucia, Gabriella, Laura, India, Madiev, Allison, Esther, and Alicia that came to Olympia with me, and Giselle. Giselle, I stopped coaching her after Olympia. I told her I didn't want to coach her anymore and that she should find another coach. And she did good. She came last year. She came 6th with me at our first Olympia, and this year she came 5th. So she looked definitely a little bit better. Shanae didn't coach again this year. She went a different route. We're still really good friends, but she didn't qualify this year. Danny Phelps didn't compete this year. Lucia competed 1 time and came 5th and then didn't do another show. Gabriella didn't compete this year. Laura Ziv didn't coach her this year, and she had a rough season. She had 3 shows and she was in the last call out all 3 shows. So I don't know what happened with that. India did 2 shows, became 2nd, and then she did Tampa and came 3rd or 4th, I think. She could have qualified, but she wanted to just take the year off and improve at some point. Yeah. Maria did compete this year. She's going to compete next year. Allison didn't compete this year. Esther, I stopped coaching her, and Alessia, I didn't coach her anymore. So those 5 of my girls that didn't compete this year. And we also had, the thing is, I don't want to just throw girls on the Olympia stage for nothing, right? There's some people that they want just as many Olympian athletes as they can. They'll make girls do 20 shows. I'm not that. For example, India, right? I could have made her qualify this year 1,000%. But she's like, why am I going to go there just to come, whatever, 2nd, 3rd call out, not even maybe top 15? What's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's like, I want to improve. I want to have more balance on my physique and come back next year better. Same with Maxine. So Maxine came 3rd in Toronto at our first pro show together, then 2nd to Ashley Kay in Vancouver, where she could have won. And she's like, you know what? I want my Olympia debut to be something special and something where I'm having an insane physique. So her too, we could have qualified her, could have pushed her to do another show. She would have won, but she's like, I'm going to get my breast implants and I'm going to gain the muscle that I need, because she was 5'7", 5'8", like 121. She's small.
Yeah.
But even Attila and Tyler, they said her physique is incredible. And we know her physique is incredible, right? She almost beat Ashley in Vancouver. She could have, but Ashley was better. But she could be the next big star. So she could qualify too. But I didn't push it. Let's just go into offseason and improve. And I'm not going to push athletes to keep competing and doing tons of shows if I know that they're not going to be top in Olympia yet and they could be a lot better, right? So some people that I don't really care about the numbers. I've always been a quality type of thing. And even though we do have big numbers, we do make the most pros, it's still a quality. That's my number one concern. I'm not going to be pushing athletes to do 10, 20 or 10, 12, 14 shows to try to qualify. Just to qualify, just so I could have, I have another. Last year we had 11 qualified, but No one did more than 2 or 3 shows. No one. You know, no one. Maybe Gabby did 4, I think, but that's it. Yeah, Esther did a few.
Yeah.
But she won on points. So we were second place how many times?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. I had a lot of fun this week at the Olympia show, the most chill Olympia I've ever had. Had 2 girls. It was fun. We had Victoria there. Gabby was there. Luca was there. And yeah, I don't know. It was good. Man, that line going into finals was, I don't
Crazy.
even know, man.
Thousands of people.
Literally, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
thousands of people in the line, the general line. It's like
Yeah.
wrapping. It was literally
More than a kilometer.
like
It was nuts.
1 or 2 kilometers long.
Yeah.
This damn line. I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
believe it. I was like, are these people gonna make it in? It was 7:30 and they're still in line like 2,000 people. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
At least they must have made a killing at the Olympia, which I'm happy for them. And it just shows that bodybuilding is strong when it's obviously growing. I've never seen something like that before.
Yeah. What did you think of the results?
Of what, the bikini or the bodybuilding, everything?
Yeah. Everything.
I don't know. Like for bodybuilding, I had Hadi Chupon winning, I think. I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I know Derek Lunsford from the back double bicep. He always has the best back, and his side shots are good too. But Hadi didn't do anything wrong, and he just had a full round. He had everything, he had no gaps at all. Derek Lunsford has a weird chest when he does most muscular. He doesn't really have an ab and thigh shot. There's some gaps here and there. Hadi has no gaps. I would have picked Hadi, I think, but I'm not mad that Derek won the bodybuilding open. Samson for me was a clear third. He's big, but he wasn't in condition. Better at the Arnold for sure.
Yeah.
And will he ever be Mr. Olympia? Maybe, but I think the conditioning is far from being close to Derek conditioning.
Or Hadi.
Far.
Hadi's little streaks.
Yeah,
in
but
his
like
chest.
Samson,
His muscle fibers were crazy.
Samson is huge and he's dense, but there's a huge gap in conditioning between like him and Hadi and Derek, and that's going to be tough for him to. Some guys just can't get that crispy. Like look at Brandon Curry. He's never been dice shredded glutes. Like, just can't get it. It's impossible.
Do you think it's like the color of his skin?
Yeah,
Like the
black
texture of
guys
his
sometimes
skin?
have a really hard time getting there's just that crispy, dry
Because
look
they
a
have
lot of the time.
thicker skin.
Yeah, especially in their
Like
lower
Asians.
body. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's hard.
it happens for also females too sometimes too. At least bikini, you don't have to be super shredded, so it's not as difficult. But yeah, as far as bikini, yeah, I'm thrilled Issa came top 5. That was our goal this year, and we definitely revived her. And she was 9th last year. Obviously, really disappointing because she had won the Olympia before. But the fact that we were able to get her back into the top 5 is something. She's back in with Jen, Laura Lee, Ashley, and Maureen. She's in the top of the world. She's top 5 in the world. It's incredible. So she was really down when she came to me, and she didn't know what to do because she was placing worse every year for 3 years. And she had won, and she placed 6th, 5th, 9th, and she was going down worse. And her last Olympia, she was told that was her worst back shot ever in her entire career. So she was, what do I do? And I brought her on my team last February, and we've been working. Obviously, Texas, we came second, which sucked. But I learned a lot from every show we did with athletes. It was our first show together. A lot of things I didn't know. They didn't want her chest to the front. I didn't know that. She knew that, but I didn't know. And I was never told this information. She was a little bit too lean, but I went into this before. Then we won Clash 1 week later. And then we improved for this show too. I think this was her best look ever, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would think that too. I think I nailed everything. Her conditioning was perfect. I've talked to a couple judges here and there, but I didn't talk to Tyler and Sandy specifically. So that's who I want to talk to, really be accurate with what I'm going to change. I'm not going to make a random call based on what I think.
Your
Let me
opinion.
hear from Sandy and Tyler, and then we'll make a plan. I'm going to take a couple days. I sent her a reverse diet. I told her what to do. But for training differences and stuff like that too, just wait. Let's assess. So what I've heard was that she's a little bit too lean in the quads and the hamstrings, but they want more glute tie-in, which is not possible to do in a conditioning. I can't choose. You can't have your hamstrings less lean, but have better glute tie-ins. You can't control where your body leans down.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can do is really build more. There's a one spot in her glute, right under her glute, where she could have a little bit more density, the part that really connects into the hamstrings. And that's just she's going to have to really get that part massaged.
Like ties?
No, it's not her adductors. It's her low. I'm going to show you guys in this video. It's right under her. It's not like her gluteus maximus. It is, but it's right under it. There's a flat area. And she says she's been trying to grow that part for 4 years, but listen, we can do the best we can, but I can't control that your quads are lean and your hamstrings are lean, but your glute tie-ins need to be leaner. It's not like reality of, that's a couple things what I heard from her. No other judge told me that she needed to have better glute tie-ins. They just told me her hamstrings were a little bit too lean, but that's just something I could easily fix. So I'm going to talk to them directly to see. But if that is, then I'm going to we need to change her foot back a little bit more to 45 degrees and not really fully profile, because I can hide her glute better. If your foot is sideways, I can't really hide the glute. You know what I mean? And I can see her glute is
Right.
big from the front, which is funny because it's never been a thing. Oh, Issa's glutes are too big. That's funny. And she said apparently that they said that her glutes were a bit too big in the back post too, which I don't agree with because I think that she could still have a little bit more density, but I don't know. I'm going to talk to Tyler and Sandy and get the full story. And then I'm going to,
She definitely did her homework because her last feedback was that she needed more glutes, right?
yeah, I mean,
And now she has
your
too much.
which is something that was so funny. Issa has too much glutes. I was laughing. I was like, I guess we accomplished something. So I would have had her in fourth. I think that's the big consensus. I think I would have had Lauralee in sixth or seventh place. Because if you look at the top, if you look at Jen, Maureen, Ashley, Lauralee, Issa, and Amy, all five of those are very consistent, but Lauralee is a lot softer and a lot bigger than all of them, right? So those kind of like the top three, and then Lauralee is very different, and then Issa and Amy are very similar. And I think if you put them more together, that's what I read a lot on Reddit too. Everyone had Issa in fourth, and I looked at the scorecards. So there was 11 judges, I believe Bill told me. Yeah, there was 11 judges, he said. And so I looked at the scorecards, and Lauralee had a score of 22, which means that, and Jen had 5. So they take the top 3 and the lowest 3 scores off, which gives the middle 5. And what that means is that 5 judges, so 5 judges had Lauralee not in fourth place. So 5 out of 6 judges had Lauralee not in fourth place. I don't know, because they take the bottom 3 off, which is higher than fourth place, would be less than that. And then they would keep the 2. So the 2 that didn't would go into her score of 22. Anyways, it's what it is. So 5 judges didn't have her in fourth place. I think so what happened was they called out 8 girls, and then Sandy took 3 of them away. Sandy took Ashley, Jen, and Maureen away, and then there were 7 girls. And Sandy put Lauralee in the middle of the 7.
Yeah.
So it kind of tells the judges, this is my fourth place finisher. And that's what I think affected it. I feel like if there was 8 girls and Issa and Lauralee were side by side, it would have been a little bit different. I think Issa would have been fourth. That's what I think would have happened, but maybe not. But that's what I think.
It's possible.
It definitely would have been a bigger possibility for her to be in fourth place.
Maybe they got influenced by the 7 places.
Well, yeah, that's like you have 7 girls and one's in the middle. That's the first place, right? So it's the first place of that lineup. Plus at the finals, Lauralee in fourth because she called out 4 girls. That's her decision, right? Yeah, so I think that could have made a little bit of a difference. But listen, it's 4th, 5th, whatever. It's fantastic.
At least she's top 5.
Yeah, that's what goal. I'll be happy if I'm top 5. I agree. I didn't have any expectations for the show. Listen, I'm going to bring you in your best. And whatever judges decide, they decide. But if she won this show, I don't think anyone would have said anything or disagreed. I haven't seen one negative feedback or comment saying that Issa didn't look incredible. Every single person I've commented, even on anonymous accounts, said Issa looked incredible. I think it was her best ever. And if she had won this Olympia, I don't think anyone would be upset or even question it because she fits the criteria. I thought her condition was really good. Maybe she'd be a little bit softer when they talk to the judges, I'll see. And we nailed it. And
I agree.
if she would have won or came second or third, or no one would have been, wow, that's weird. It doesn't make sense. Everyone would be like, yeah, she looks incredible. It makes sense. So
I agree with that.
That really makes me happy as a coach. That's all I can do as a coach. I'm not a judge. I can't control any of that. My role as a coach is just to bring my athletes in at their best and judges make the decisions on.
That's what you did. She was definitely her best.
Yeah, when she walked out, I saw her pose and that's when I finally relaxed. I was okay, I did a good job. No matter what happens, her physique is incredible. And whatever she places, I know I did a good job and I can't be mad. So
and she was happy.
Yeah. And if an athlete walks out and they feel, oh, fuck, they're a little bit too lean, or, oh man, they could have been softer, or you're, oh, shit, I fucked it up. But when she walked out and I saw her physique, I was okay, I'm calm now. I wasn't calm, but I'm calmer.
You were happy with your work.
Yeah, I was happy with what we did. Could we have made her a bit softer? Yeah, easily. But would it have been the same wow factor, or would her times been too soft? I don't know. At this level, it's a game of increments, right? It's always a little bit there, a little bit there.
It's really deep.
It's literally, I could have literally fed her. I could have given her 300 mLs more of water, and it could have changed her conditioning, and maybe she would have been perfectly, or I could have been give her 300 mLs of water more, and she could have been too soft. That's literally what it is at this level. It's the smallest increments are going to be changing things, and it's whoever peaks the best, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I think she's going to do the Arnold. I don't know. It depends. If the feedback is you don't need to grow anywhere, then I think we should do the Arnold. If the feedback is you need to grow somewhere, then I think we should take time off. But if they're saying her glutes are too big and she doesn't need to grow, then we can do the Arnold. I mean,
when is the Arnold?
It's in 15 weeks or something.
Oh, yeah.
But she's going on vacation for 4 weeks now. But we get her lean quickly, but If she doesn't have to grow really anywhere and we just need to be a little bit softer, what does Issa need to do to win the Olympia? That's all I want to know. How do I listen to the feedback after Texas, I listen to the feedback after Clash, and I listen to the feedback, and we're moving up better every single time. That's my job as a coach and just to guide her. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy with the result. I'm not upset at the placing at all. Obviously, I would have had a 4th. I would have had Amy 5th. I would have had Laura Lee probably in the 7th or 8th position. I think that would have been, I think if that happened to me, no one would really say anything because you can see the difference in the physiques.
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, I would have already done my recap video and stuff too about what I thought about everything. But yeah, Gen 1, after looking at the pictures of everything online, Jen definitely won the front pose guaranteed. Front pose guaranteed. I do think Maureen won the back pose because just the symmetry, and I'll show pictures you guys have already seen if you watch my recap video. Jen's back pose is very wide and she sits on her right hip, and then her glutes are not fully in the middle. And if they want symmetry and they want balance, it's not balanced in the back pose.
She sits on her right hip and bends her left knee,
and it doesn't round out the glutes too. It makes it a triangle shape then.
Yeah.
So if it's a balance from top to bottom, Maureen has flawless balance in the back pose and Jen doesn't based on the posing.
Yeah.
So she still won with a flawless score. I had Maureen winning after prejudging just based on what I saw, but Maureen's tan was a little bit too dark. I don't think it helped her, but yeah, I'm not obviously upset that Jen won the Olympia. She's incredible. Her front pose was the best by far. She destroyed everyone in the front pose. It wasn't even close. And her posing's great. Her stage presence is amazing. She's a great ambassador for the sport. So when she won, I was just as happy. I have no bias between Maureen or Jen winning. I just thought it's an opinionated sport. I thought Maureen had it in the morning. And yeah, that's what it is.
We'll see what they say.
Yeah, we'll see what this says. But once again, it's increments at that level.
Details.
Yeah. I thought Ashley looked really good. I think she nailed it.
Ashley is very consistent.
Yeah, that's her game. Like she's like Dexter Jackson. Like she always looks exactly the same. And if girls are off, she's beating them. That's it. 100%. And if girls are on, then
she's a little robot. Just like
she looks the same all the time. Maybe like little bit differences here and there, but she's off. If Laura Lee's off, Ashley beats her. If Laura Lee's on, Ashley loses to her. Yeah. So for Ashley to win the Olympia, everyone's going to be a little bit off, and she'll win. But everyone's going to be a little bit off.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. As far as Laura Lee's shape, I think Laura Lee's her biggest enemy. Laura Lee. Yeah. She's her biggest enemy. As far as she needs to beat herself. She doesn't have to beat the other girls. Yeah. Laura Lee has the best physique on the stage. Yeah. Laura Lee has beaten all these girls multiple times. But it all depends on, it does not matter how all the other girls look. She just has to come in at her best and she wins. She's shown that every time. She's beaten everyone. When we came top 2 at the Olympia, the closest she ever got to win the Olympia was when she was with me, 2021, and she was 1 point away from Jen. I was close to ever been to Olympia. Was it her best physique ever? I wouldn't say so. I thought her best physique ever was when she won the Arnold, and then Pittsburgh were her 2 best. But she just has to come in at her best and she wins. It does not matter how the other girls look, which is great because she has the best genetics, but she needs to get her mind straight. And at the Olympia, everyone knows something always happens at the Olympia where she just doesn't bring the same package as she always does. And she wins the Arnold, wins Pittsburgh, wins New York, 5th place Olympia, wins the Arnold, 4th place Olympia. She literally beating everyone, and then she goes to Olympia and just changes the look completely. Last year, she came in way too shredded. It made no sense. Like she was 100. So when Laura Lee came top 2 to Olympia with me, she was about 129.8, 130 on stage. Then when she won the Arnold, she was around 130.6-ish, and the same for Pittsburgh and the same for the Arnold again. And so her winning physique is around 129.8 to 130.6. That's where she strives, and that's her best looks. And then at the Olympia last year, looked at me, she was 125, 124, around there, which was a big difference. And this year at the Olympia, she was 136 on stage. So Tyler made a video and he said her best physique ever was Pittsburgh, Arnold, right? She was around 130. And then at this show, she comes in 6 pounds heavier. She was saying that she listened to the feedback and stuff too, but it's just like, you won Arnold, Pittsburgh, Arnold at exactly this small weight, right? Yeah. And then you're going to come to Olympia 6 pounds heavier. I don't understand the mindset. Yes, you want to be a little bit fuller, but her body fat, it's not. Everyone's saying she's too much muscle stuff too. It's a body fat issue. When she's a little bit higher in body fat, she looks huge.
And like saying that her glutes are too big.
They are big, but when her body fat's a little bit higher, it looks massive. And the second she walked out, you could see her back push her glutes were the size of Jen's and Maureen's glutes combined. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why they did that. But she knows that she has the best genetics and she has the best physique. She just needs to come in her best, and And once she's able to beat herself and she's able to control her physique and herself, then she's going to win the Olympia. It does not matter who shows up. She just has to come in at her best. And that's all she has to do. And a lot of girls can be at their all-time best. A lot of the girls not in the top 10 were at their all-time best. But they're not going to win the Olympia because their best isn't as good as, let's say, Jen, Maureen, Issa, Ashley is 95%. It doesn't matter. But Laura Lee at 100% beats everyone at their best.
Yeah.
So she just has the genetics. So hopefully she can.
Yeah.
She just has to get it together for the Olympia. You can win 100 Arnolds, but you still want the damn Olympia. That's what people care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Like we were talking last podcast, it's all about genetics.
Well, a lot of it at the top level, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
She has the best.
Yeah, it's all about genetics, but you need a coach to be able to. This is not about Laura Lee. Coach is great, but I'm talking about other girls. They have great genetics, but they don't have someone to put it together. And I see that a lot. Where girls have such good genetics and they're not even a pro, and you're just like, fuck. If I could just fix you, you would be good. Talking about genetics, the girl Ariana that came 7th. Oh my god, I wish I could coach this girl. Like, I saw her at Clash after Issa beat her, and I was like, you're gonna be top 10 Olympia this year, next year, guaranteed. She has a perfect structure in her front pose, perfect back pose, roundness, full, everything, but she just never comes in condition enough. And I think she did 4 shows this year, including the Olympia, and she still hasn't been crispy. She hasn't been perfectly full and lean at the same time. And if that's a star in the making. That's the next. She could win the Olympia. This girl, she has perfect genetics, good beauty. She's beautiful. She has great posing. She has a perfect structure. She could be the next. Came 7 at her Olympia debut. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But I knew because I saw her on this girl's. I saw her at Tampa. I think she came top 2. And then she did another show and she won it. And then she did Clash, came 2nd to Issa. And then this Olympia, she has everything. She has the whole package. If there was, what person would you want to coach at the Olympia? Even the top girls. This girl, I would say her because she has it. I just, she just needs a little bit more fine tuning to really be an all-star. This girl, she could win the Olympia. She's a perfect bikini structure.
Yeah, she surprised me. She's awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I saw her before. Even when she went on stage against Issa and Clash, I was like, fuck, this girl's good, man. I was like, this is not a noob. This is a good bikini athlete. I was very impressed. Yeah. So let's get into a couple of the questions that you guys had for me. So first one is tips to maximize your off-season. I'll start quickly. I think it's just nailing the reverse diet is the first thing to do. That's how you maximize your off-season. Starting on a good note. I'm a parrot. I've said this so many times. You got to reverse diet after a show. If you do a show and you don't reverse diet, you stop your cardio, stop your training, stop your PEDs, and you gain 30 pounds, you start off on a really bad note, and it's really hard to get back into in the off-season, even to be motivated. If you nail your reverse and you start on a good note going to the off-season, your off-season is going to be a lot better. I would say also the tip to maximize the off-season is stay accountable to a coach. 95% of the athletes that don't do an off-season with me and come back later on look the same or worse as when we started. The ones that make the most progress with me and turn pro, qualify Olympia are the ones that do an off-season with me and progress with me all year. Because if you stay accountable to a coach, you're going to be making incremental progress towards your goal. But if you do it on your own, it's very hard to be objective and, okay, I need more food now. Okay, I need to be leaner. Okay. And even to know the things that you need to do to get better, it's very hard to do on your own. And I almost never see anyone come back and they look better. I think over 95%. Definitely stay accountable to a coach and make sure that you have someone guiding you and telling you what to do in the offseason. I think that's the best way. What do you think?
No, I think it's true. The reverse is key because that's the only way you're going to be able to bring your metabolism to a healthy point and be
hormones.
Your hormones too, and bring your calories higher. The goal is always to be able to eat more without getting excess body fat, right? So if you have a binge episode after your show and you start gaining a lot of body fat, it's really hard to bring your maintenance calories at a higher level because you're probably going to need to lower your calories a little bit to bring your body fat at a decent level. So the best way would definitely to be to stick to your reverse, bring your calories high without gaining too much body fat and just slightly bring your calories up. There's a lot of girls that
but you need someone to tell you to do this. If you're just...
Oh, no. Yeah, obviously. You can't do this on your own. I think having a coach throughout your whole career as a bodybuilder, as a bikini competitor is essential. You don't have the eye or you don't even know what you need to improve yourself in the mirror. It's completely different than having a coach.
You can have a good idea, but to be objective with your own physique is very tough.
No one is going to be in their off season, I need to cut out my cheat meal.
Yeah, it's hard to be objective with your own. physique, you know.
It is. It really is. And having the eye of a specialist, a coach, is the best thing you can do for yourself and for your own progression. So yeah, I agree with you. The reverse is the key to start a good off season and a good prep too. Because if you fuck your reverse, it's gonna be so hard, and you're probably gonna gain a lot of fat, a lot of weight, and it's gonna be harder for you to lower it down once you're gonna start back prep. So reverse is everything. Staying on top of your coaching is very, very important.
And doing your posing too in the off season is important.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
if you do a prep and you do posing for 12 weeks and then you go into a 30-week off season and then you forget everything, you gotta restart. You need to be making incremental progress. Fuck, my microphone's over here. Anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna cut that out, but all right, we'll see.
Do we restart?
No, we're good to go.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So the posing, if you're just doing posing in your preps and you're neglecting it in your off season,
Yeah.
you're not going to make that much posing progress. You need to
No.
really do it in your off season too, and you're stretching and everything. Don't try to cram everything into prep. Make the progress you need to make in your off season, and not just focus on, okay, time to cut down. I'm going to cram everything in 12 weeks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so much better to start in the off season, to keep practicing, keep making sure you're on top of your stretch. Stretching is so important in the off season. It's crazy because I always refer that to an obese person. An obese person, their mobility is not the same. It's harder to get up the stairs. They're not as flexible as someone who's smaller, right? In the off season, obviously no one is obese, but you carry more weight, so it's harder to actually move around. It is. I experienced
It's harder to do vacuums, harder to do stretching. It is
Yes.
harder to pose in the off season.
Everything is harder. But if you start there, once it's hard, it's just gonna get easier once you're gonna lean down. Yeah, no, I think it's key to practice, to keep practicing your posing, to keep stretching, to keep doing your vacuums, because like I said, lean down, it's just gonna get easier. So yeah, it's key.
And the next question is, how would you handle someone who gains too much after a show, 20 to 30, 40 pounds? And that goes into the reverse dieting thing. So let's just say you don't follow your reverse diet and you really have a bad binging episode after your competition, and you stop your cardio, you stop your training, you stop your PDs, and you gain 30 pounds in 3 weeks. What do you do? If you try to crash diet and you try to reverse the damage you did by reducing your calories down to 900 and doing 3 hours of cardio, you're going to dig yourself into a deeper hole. Mm-hmm. You need to accept what you've done. You need to accept the weight that you've gained, and your goal needs to be switched to being flawless on a diet. So that means, let's say your reverse diet was 1,400 calories. Even if you gain 30 pounds, get back on the 1,400 calories. Don't try to go to 900. Get back on the 1,400 calories, do a reasonable amount of cardio, maybe 30 minutes, and just be consistent. And then eventually your metabolism is going to start catching up, and you're going to start losing weight and start getting back into a good rhythm. If you try to do these yo-yoing, well, you gain 30, so you got to lose 30 back fast, it's never going to happen.
It's so unhealthy.
It's so unhealthy, and you're going to have to put back in PDs, you're going to have to do all these things. You don't want to do that. You want to just get back onto a strict plan, get back into the rhythm, do your cardio, do your training as you were, stop your cheat meals, right? And get back into a place where you're able to get your metabolism back on track, and then you could eventually start increasing food and your weight's going to start coming down slowly. But don't do the yo-yo dieting. Don't try to do damage control and do the complete opposite of binging, which is starving yourself completely. You're not going to win that battle. You're digging yourself into a deeper hole, and you're going to end up getting more weight because you're going to do more damage to your metabolism, and you're going to binge again, and don't do that. So you need to accept the damage you've done, get back on a structured plan, and be accountable with your coach. If you gain 30 pounds and you think you're going to fix it by yourself, you're not. It's going to be worse. You're going to get into a deeper hole. Let's say an athlete does a competition and I send the reverse diet the night of the show or the Sunday morning, and they don't check in with me for a week, and they don't check in with me for 2 weeks. Something's bad.
Yeah. Something
happened, and they gain tons of weight and they don't want to tell you, and they're trying to fix it themselves before they send a check-in.
Yeah.
That never works. They're going to send a check-in 3, 4, 5 weeks later, and it's going to be a disaster. Even if you screwed up and you gained 10 pounds in 3 days or 15 pounds, send a check-in, make that your starting point. Don't try to fix it yourself. Let your coach help you. If you try to fix it yourself, you're going to do more damage to yourself. 100% of the time I've seen this. I see athletes, oh, I'll just check in 4 days once the water drops. No, the worst thing you could do is ignore your coach and thinking you're going to fix it yourself because you're embarrassed. It's not going to work. Let your coach know. They want the best for you. They want to see you healthy, right? And they're going to help you get back to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Don't try to work against your coach. Don't try to fix things yourself. It's not going to work. You're going to make the situation worse every single time.
You have a coach for a reason.
Yes. Gain 15 pounds, like, listen, I gained 15 pounds. I'm sorry. I'm ready to get back on track. I'm going to follow this diet. I'm going to check in on time.
Yeah.
That's the best way to fix the situation. Good. Pros competing in easy shows to qualify or winning and doing another show. What do you think?
It's fine. I just don't agree when pros wait for the list to come out before jumping into a show.
Mm-hmm.
That I find it's not good. You look at like your other competitors, and if you're I'm sure I can beat all these girls, then you jump into the show. Nah, it shouldn't work that. It should be the list comes out and that's it. You can't even register to the show anymore. I think they should put it at this new rule to not just jump into random shows depending on who's competing and who's not. For easier shows, I mean, listen, everyone is different. We spoke at the beginning of the podcast. There's girls that compete at the Olympia just because they want to compete at the Olympia. Then there's other girls that compete at the Olympia because they want to do good and they want to be at least top 10, at top 15. If your goal is just to compete and to show up and say, check, I went to the Olympia, then to do a easy show, it's fine. If your goal is just to get there, it's completely fine. But if your goal is to actually win, don't qualify doing an easy show because your chances at winning the Olympia or placing top 10 is very low.
So it depends. There's obviously Ashley K does a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Ashley K does a lot of shows. I mean, she does it to try to get the numbers up and win
She
as many
just
pro
loves
shows
it,
she
yeah.
does. So, to me, I think winning, she already won the Olympia 3 times, but I think winning the Olympia again would mean more than winning 30 random pro shows.
But apparently not for her.
No, exactly. Not for her. I've seen one of her podcasts. She said that she loves to compete and she's not going to put all her eggs in one basket and try to win the Olympia when she can make a lot more money and sponsorship money from winning all these shows. So if she wants to do it, that's no problem. I have no. Honestly, it's better because there's a lot less girls qualifying to Olympia. We would have like 70 girls at the show. It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So it was less this year than last year, not by many, but it's still better. I think there should be like 25, 30 girls at Olympia. I think there's too many or still.
It should be more prestigious. It is prestigious already because you're the top in the world, but there was
48 girls. There's too many shows overseas and stuff too. And a lot of all the European competitors don't do good in these shows. It's so rare.
Yeah.
Was there any in the top 15 that were from overseas? The caliber over there is a lot lower. Maybe you have less shows. And even less shows in the States. There's a lot of shows.
I think now though, no, because that's just the rule of top 5. Did you see? Top 5 now. Before
I think it's only top 3 we qualify.
Yeah, now it's just top 3 that qualifies for the Olympia next year. But it used to be top 5. Now Issa needs to
I'm not sure if
re-qualify.
for the bikini it was top 5. Issa already won the Olympia, so she doesn't need to requalify.
Oh,
but,
it goes to that?
Yeah, but if you won the Olympia once, you don't need to requalify. But she's going to do another show before the Olympia, obviously, so we can get more feedback.
Yeah.
And yeah, as far as the athletes joining in shows after the list is already out, there's 3 girls I know that do this all the time. And it sucks. And they post the list on Monday usually, and they'll see the list. Let's say there's a couple of shows that weekend, right? They'll see the list, and then they'll go to the show that's easier.
Yeah.
And I've literally seen girls do this before. There's 3 shows in one weekend, and they'll book 3 different hotels, wait for their flight, and then cancel the 2 hotels because it's still before the deadline and go to the easier show. I know, it's ridiculous. It's like literally a strategy that they do. And if
It's like almost cheating.
And I called Tyler about this last year and I was, listen, girls are doing this. And he's like, yeah, I've heard men's physique athletes are doing it too. And what I tried to explain was that when you guys sign a contract, there's a thing that says it's up to the promoter if they want to charge you a penalty of $500 or something if you sign up late. But there's never been a promoter once that told an athlete that they can't do the show or they have to pay the fee. But what they should do is enforce the fee. If you sign up late to the show, you have to pay the $500. So let's say, so make the athletes have to pay that fee because there's no one that should ever have to pay anyways. You have so much time to sign for a show. Why would you sign up 3 days before? You literally just have to send a contract in. It takes 2 seconds to do. If you're late, it's because you're unreliable and you're unorganized.
What's the limit?
You can literally sign up 1 day before. There's nothing.
Yeah,
it's
that doesn't
ridiculous.
make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's cheating.
Yeah.
It's not fair, and it's not fair for the athletes to actually sign their contract on time. And I wish that they would enforce a rule where you can't do that, because it's not fair. And it's not fair for the athletes that just go in blind, which everyone should, and not choose a show based on who's competing and gives you an advantage. It's not. And if you do that, you suck. I'm sorry. If you're an athlete that's doing this, you're lame. You know that you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And
it's not right.
I mean, you think a top Olympic girl is doing this? No, they're not. It's sad, you know? So don't do this. It's not cool. And I told him, and he's, yeah, we're going to look into it. And if I see any athlete continuously doing this, then maybe we'll talk to them. But there needs to be a strict rule that's set in place where people can't do this. He said it happens a lot in bikini and a lot in men's physique. So there's obviously a problem that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I saw it less this year than last year. Last year was terrible. Last year was happening a lot. Girls they're not even on the list, and they literally show up to registration on the Friday, and they're like, oh, by the way, I'm competing. And then they win because they know it's an easier show. The fuck? This question actually asked a lot. Someone asked, can loose skin and stretch marks worsen placings? And yeah, definitely. It's an aesthetic sport. A lot of women, either if you have like tummy tuck or usually a C-section line, you can cover with a bikini.
Yeah.
But it's an aesthetic sport. If you have an extreme weight loss and you have loose skin around your glutes or your stomach, whatever, of course it can affect your placing. And even though it's not your fault, it's not your fault either that someone has better genetics than you or has better genetic glutes or waist or whatever. It's just your structure and how you are. And that's the criteria of the sport, right? You want to play basketball. I'm sorry, you're 4 feet tall. It's not your fault, but the person who's 7 feet tall is going to have an advantage, right? They're just born that way.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry you're short. But you know, so it's, oh, but it's not my fault. Yeah, but the sport is literally an aesthetic sport and nothing else. They don't care about how strong you are. They don't care about all these other attributes. They care about how you look on stage on that day. And you have to have nice skin, good complexion. She needs to be tight. You can't have saggy glutes. You can't have...
Tattoos. Tattoos affect a lot too.
They say they don't, but they do. Maureen has it, but it's on the side that you don't see.
Yes, but this is small.
Yeah, you don't see. Yeah, it doesn't help. It really doesn't help at all. And yeah, that's something you can control. If you have tons of tattoos, that was your decision. But either way, there's these little things. Yeah, if you look at the top girls, does Amy have a tattoo or no? Is it on her front post side or no?
She does.
Is it on her front post side?
No, I think she's...
Other side?
Yeah.
That's not as bad then. But if you have to have a visible sleeve or on your leg or that you can see in your front pose and your back pose, it's gonna hurt you. It just is. It's just...
Yeah.
There's no top Olympians that have that super visible, and it's just part of the sport.
Even for guys too, if they have tattoos, it's going to be half a sleeve. Or
that's okay. If you're covering your
top Olympians with 2 sleeves, you don't.
Yeah, you're not going to cover your full back with tattoos either. You're done, or your chest or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Andre Ferguson has his chest done, but he's black, so it doesn't really see on stage. But if anything hides your muscle definition or your roundness or takes away from your physique or is distracting or your skin's not tight, it's going to affect your placing because it's an aesthetic sport. That's just what it is. Yeah. And there's no creams that are going to help your skin tightening and stuff too. You need surgery to get it removed. But then if there's bad scars and it could affect you, or it's very hard to make, let's say you're 60 years old, saggy skin on your bum or your hamstrings, those surgeons are going to make it perfect. They can make it as good as they can, but also as you lean down, right, you're going to have less volume in your under the skin because you're taking the fat away, so your skin's going to be looser than it was. Yeah, I hope that answers that question, and I think this is going to be the conclusion of podcast number 8, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, write down some ideas of questions we can talk about.
Yeah. And I'm going to be headed to the Bahamas on Thursday this week, and then I'm going to Fort Lauderdale show. So if you're around, you can come say hi to me at the show. But I had a great week at the Olympia. It was super fun. I'm happy to see so many of you, and you came to say hi to me. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable week. I think definitely my favorite Olympia ever, I would say. Last year was pretty fun too, but it was a lot harder because I had 10 girls. It's a lot of work. It's very stressful. And this year was a lot more chill. I could hang around a little bit more and enjoy a little bit more. And actually
we went to Disney.
Yeah, for one day, but that was
It was whatever.
Yeah, I did too many steps. I walked too much.
It was lost weight.
Yeah, I got skinny. I did 3 months worth of walking that day. It was
relax.
40 million thousand steps.
40 million thousand steps.
Anyways, this ends podcast number 8, and I hope you guys have a great day. And we will be back for podcast number 9 very soon. Bye, guys.